Today's beat motion poem is called How Do You Doody. It does come from Australia. What I'd like to do with this song or with this poem today is I'm going to say it for you twice while keeping a steady beat, and then I'm going to explain to you what the game would be. And a game would work with a group of at least 3 people, because you have to be able to stand in a circle and hold onto hands to do this activity. If you're not comfortable with holding hands right now, that's okay. You can keep a steady beat with pencils, with pens, with spoons, with your fingers. You can just keep a steady beat, because eventually what will happen is we'll decode this poem somewhere down the road as well. All right, here we go. We'll keep a steady beat to start with our fingers. How do you do? How do you do? How do you do today? Do you live where you used to live, or have you shifted away? I'm sorry you're so disagreeable. I only stopped to say, how do you do? How do you do? How do you do today? Now, if you have some pencils and want to keep a beat like that, you're more than welcome to. Here I go. How do you do? How do you do? How do you do today? Do you live where you used to live, or have you shifted away? I'm sorry you're so disagreeable. I only stopped to say, how do you do? How do you do? How do you do today? Now, here's how the game would work. We would be standing in a circle. Our arms would be crossed like this, and you'd be holding onto the hands of the people next to you as if you're shaking their hands. So if this arm was down, you'd be holding onto their hand, shaking it. Same thing, shaking it. So you're going to shake them both at the same time for the first time, and then after you say, how do you do today, you're going to switch which arm is on top. You'd still grab the same people's hands, but you'd switch which arm is on top. And then you would flip it back on the third line like this. And on the last line, how do you do? How do you do? How do you do today? We would walk around randomly in the room, but by the end of how do you do today, we need to be back in our circle holding onto hands with everybody to begin the game again. Now, the tricky part of this game when you're playing it with a big group of people is getting back into that circle, holding onto hands by the end of the poem. And the goal is to try to change up the circle, who you're standing by each time. Let's start. We'll still be able to keep our steady beat by doing our handshaking thing. So we're going to hold our hands like this. Pretend like you're holding someone else's hands. And here we go. How do you do? How do you do? How do you do today? Do you live where you used to live, or have you shifted away? I'm sorry you're so disagreeable. I only stopped to say, now you'd walk, how do you do? How do you do? How do you do today? How do you do? How do you do? How do you do today? Do you live where you used to live, or have you shifted away? I'm sorry you're so disagreeable. I only stopped to say, how do you do? How do you do? How do you do today? All right. This activity, I did say during that it could be done in a circle. We've also done it in lines. So if you have a smaller group and the circle is just too close, you can do it in lines and change up the order of your line. You could also come up with your own clapping game, which would be really neat to go along with this one as well.